Stugotz here for Upside.com. I've been talking a lot about Upside.com, telling you it will save your company big on business travel and that you'll get a big gift card every trip you buy. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, in less than 2 minutes, they gave me a few awesome choices on United and American for flights to Chicago that work for me and a bunch of big-name hotels. The first option got me a $200 gift card and saved the company nearly $400. Then they showed me options for a flight an hour earlier or a stay at the same kind of hotel down the block. I'd get even more in gift cards, and the trip cost the company even less. Taking a business trip? You'd be crazy not to use Upside. Upside's the real deal. Got me a gift card for $200. Trust me, go to Upside.com today. Plus, when you use promo code Dan, you are guaranteed to get at least a $200 Amazon gift card your first trip. That's code Dan to get a $200 gift card free. Save big on travel and get a big gift card every trip. See what your next trip is worth today. Upside.com. That's Upside.com. Minimum purchase required. See site for complete details.
The wait is over. The mighty Joe Harper is here. He has put his lie detector equipment in here. We are 1 hour away, even though the wait is over. A 1 hour wait from Stugotz beginning to do the lie detector.
He strapped me in this morning. He's a very intimidating man. The machine makes him even more intimidating. He strapped me in before the show just to kind of go over the basics of how to do this, where my fingers need to be so we can get maximum results on the lie detector. I can't even look at him, man. He's so intimidating, this guy.
So we are going to spend most of the show today with Stugotz hooked up to a lie detector, breezing in and out of questions for him where we test him on lies. Mike, I have come to a conclusion. I know you realize this, but we could get Stugotz to do something like this every day as long as we just promise him attention. Because he doesn't care what the shame is. Stugotz enjoyed the holy hell out of yesterday, and most people would not have.
Oh, it was great. No, I really did. I enjoyed it. I'm not saying I would do something like that every single day, but yesterday I enjoyed it. I didn't think I would, but I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed that our listeners enjoyed it so much.
But you also enjoyed the attention.
Of course.
Don't try and make yourself Brother Teresa.
Oh, no.
That our listeners loved it.
No.
Loved being on Sports Center. And
I enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed listening to Mike and Mike talk about me on the way in this morning. And
for a very long time.
Yeah, for a very long time. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie. I enjoy the attention, and I also enjoy that our listeners enjoy the attention that I'm getting. I do. I like that.
Wait a minute. You don't know that they enjoy that. You enjoy that.
Well, they seem to enjoy it yesterday.
My point is, yes, it was good. It was funny. It is funny. If you're just joining us, Stugotz had to, because he lost betting the Cleveland Cavaliers in the finals, he had to shave his head like Paul Feinbaum, wear a suit like Paul Feinbaum, looked like Paul Feinbaum. And I think, Mike, we could do something like this with Stugotz, that the ESPN vehicle will pump it out and put him on all platforms.
Something embarrassing every week.
I'm telling you, he would go for it.
What are we doing next week?
You're fighting a bear.
Oh.
He likes the way that everyone at the company notices him, and he should. It's fun.
I mean, who am I going to dress up like next week? Let's think of someone.
I mean, he'll do it every week, Mike. It'll be. We can create a day of the week. You got to promise him that it's going to go viral. You got to promise him that all of ESPN is going to be using it.
We're going to put you in a barrel and send you off of Niagara Falls.
Seriously.
Next month.
Okay. ESPN going to blast it everywhere? I mean.
Especially if you die, it'll go even if you die and it's on. People will figure out a way to blame Disney and ESPN. You'll be on Good Morning America and everything, but you'll be dead.
I love how it just keeps escalating to the point that he's probably going to die from one of these.
Right.
Like coming up in January, Stugotz tight ropes between two skyscrapers in Dubai
with no training,
and no net.
I'm in.
Just get out there, Stugotz, go, and we'll all be cheering until he falls to his death, and then we're like, ooh, and now it's over.
But he would have loved all this attention that his death is getting.
Yes.
He really would have.
I did it for the fans.
So Stugotz is now bald today. He looks more sinister, doesn't he, Mike? He looks like someone. He looks like someone who should have a lie detector test, attached to him at all times.
I'm I'm very self-conscious this time around. I am. Like, I'm walking around with my head down because last time I did this, I was able to grow out the full beard. But because of the nature of what we did yesterday and having to look like Paul, I didn't do that. So I have a clean-shaven face as well. And so
you feel exposed?
Yeah, I need the beard to grow in quickly.
Look like a fat Siamese cat.
Yeah, the next hour? You need it to grow in the next hour?
As quickly as possible, man. I really do. And I did watch portions of that back yesterday, and my goodness, have I gained a lot of weight. I'm serious, man. I have gained probably 30 pounds.
But it's all in your face.
All of it is in my face. My face and my tummy. My belly. That's where it is. I mean, that's where the weight distribution goes for me. It goes to my chin and it goes to my stomach. That's where it goes.
You're saying since 5 months ago, you've put at least 15 pounds of weight on your face.
I would say
just on his face alone, there's probably 15 extra pounds.
Yeah, 15 to 20 pounds. I'm telling you, man.
One of the things
did you guys notice I stopped eating right around the bat mitzvah?
One of the things, yes, I noticed you lost weight. One of the things that I noticed yesterday is when you were laughing, jiggling, when your face started shaking because you were enjoying the Feinbaum so much. Mm-hmm. Part of the humor in it for me was how disgusting you are. Like, because your face. But part of what was funny is you've got this joy on your face, and your face is undulating. Your face is shaking. Yep. You're laughing. Your hair is falling out, and I'm looking at you, and I'm palpably repulsed. But I'm laughing through my disgust. I'm laughing. Like, I'm laughing at my disgust. You know how rare that is to be disgusted and hugely amused?
It's hard. That's a hard thing to pull
Usually you
off.
can only be one of those things at a time.
Disgusted and amused. Are there other examples of that where you're disgusted and amused?
It's hard to be, rabidly, furious and amused. But I was really disgusted by you yesterday. Guillermo, what did the Portobello Crush Room do yesterday?
The Portobello Crush Room had this great snagging catch and an inning. That's pretty much it.
So nothing?
So no. Over at the plate?
Soup de boar, man.
Nothing stood out. Ozuna hit a home run, a bomb that bounced off a woman's head. I hope she's okay.
Ooh.
Did they win?
No, they lost 12-3.
They got crushed.
Yeah. A bad ending to the game. I missed most of it. I was at the game, but I had to go down to handle some business in the store. So I left after the 7th inning because I wanted to beat the rush in the store after the game, So I went down to beat the rush in the store, and then I went in. It was 6-3. Actually, it was 7-3 because I saw they gave up a 7th run while I was walking down to the store. And then when I left the store, it was 12-3. And I have no idea what happened. I just saw that Ziegler didn't do well.
Are we, Guillermo and Chris, Fat Chris, I know you've been keeping track of this. Are we going to look back at this Ryan Zimmerman year the way we look back at the Brady Anderson year?
It is a crazy year that he's having.
What is going on, man?
Yeah. Something's up.
Isn't he older now? Isn't he in his mid-30s?
He is
older than he used to be.
He is 32, and he is having by far the best season he's ever had. It's the Brady Anderson.
Well, but
year.
everybody, am I wrong about this? Aren't they on a record-breaking home run pace, which is saying something given the steroid era? Every time I look up, somebody's got 19 or 20 home runs.
Dan, his career high is 33. And he's only gone over 30 one time in his career. He's been around for a while.
He's been a good player.
But Mike, not this. He has 19 homers already. His OPS is 1,050. He's never had a season in which his OPS was over 1,000. In fact, he's only had one season where it was over 900, and that was his rookie year where he played 20 games.
You want to be surprised by someone with a lot of home runs? Lomo has 21 home runs. His career has 23.
I'm saying that everyone in the sport seems to have 20 home runs.
And Mike, check this guy out, because we talked about him for years and it never panned out. The smoke monster. He's got 22 homers.
Oh, he's got 20.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on. Jason Vargas is unbelievable. I don't understand baseball.
Let's see. What would be the Marlins team of just guys they've gotten rid of? Let's see. Let's make this team.
Well, Lomo's on it now.
Lomo.
Vargas is the ace. Andrew Miller's shutting them down, closing out games.
Cabrera.
Oh, by the way, Cameron Maben he's been having a fantastic year with the Angels.
Cameron Maben
Get
for the
outta
Angels
here.
is playing
Yes, he
more
has.
now that Mike Trout is out. It's not fantastic.
He's got like 24 steals. Like it's pretty good, Dan. And the last month he's been very good.
Speaking of Cabrera, he needs to really get it together because I took him first in my fantasy draft, 1 pick over Bryce Harper. What a mistake. At 10th, oh, what a terrible year Miguel Cabrera is having. Miguel Cabrera. I thought he was never going to fall off. Oh, he fell off. It's over for him.
It's over.
It's over.
Might be, yeah.
So who's the shortstop on this team? Who's the second baseman? If you were to make a team of former Marlins that are right now playing all over the league, because Vargas is Seattle's ace.
Yeah.
It took him 14 years to
I think
get
he's
there.
with Kansas City now.
Okay.
But he's an ace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to start the All-Star game. Watch.
Is he?
I don't know.
I called
chance.
him the Truth when he came out as a 22-year-old and pitched for the Marlins. The Truth.
Was that your nickname for him?
Yeah, and didn't catch on, but now it took 12 years later. I'm right. I got the wrong team. I got him as the ace of the Mariners staff.
Is 380 on base good for Maben? Is that good? 380 on base.
380 is good.
Yeah, he's having a good year.
League average is about 330, 340.
I want to fill this team out, man. Because the team that we could fill out is better than the team that they currently have by
Is
a lot.
it?
I think so, yes.
Is it?
I think so.
I don't think so.
You don't?
No, the pitching's going to be weak. Nolasco is one of the Angels' top starters. He's still bouncing around out there.
Right. How's Hanley doing?
He's not doing great. I mean, he's hitting like 240, has like 8 or 9 home runs. He does look fat. He's fun, though. I was upset when they traded Hanley. I'm like one of the only ones. I liked him.
Yeah, Mike was so happy to have him gone. I think that coincides with Mike no longer caring about the Marlins right there.
Yeah. The trade, the end date of my Marlins fandom was that trade that they probably won in retrospect, where they traded Josh Johnson, Mark Burley, Jose Reyes. That trade with Toronto, it just sent such a bad message. And is it even like
Did they win?
who cares? Like the message that it sent was so poisonous and toxic to this fan base. It was business as usual. We fooled you. We fooled the county.
Could Reyes be shortstop? Is he having a good year?
Doesn't he play for your team?
Yeah.
Why don't you know that?
Why would I watch the Mets?
You don't know whether Jose Reyes... Man, see, how about this? Do you realize what just happened there, Mike? If this isn't what's happened to baseball, Stugotz loves baseball or loved baseball. Stugotz doesn't know what's going on with his own team. And you know why he doesn't know what's going on with Jose Reyes? Because Jose Reyes isn't a valuable fantasy player. Otherwise, he'd know what's going on with Jose Reyes.
Under the Mendoza line right now, 196.
Yeah.
How do you not know that, Stugotz?
Well, listen, it's a combination of what you said. He's not on my fantasy team, and the Mets are dreadful. I mean, why would I pay attention to the Mets at this point?
What is the Mendoza line? Is it 200?
200.
Yeah. He's also their third baseman, not their shortstop, Stugotz.
Guillermo, let me ask you this question. This has happened a couple of times the last couple of nights with these Marlins games. There's been a slide at third base. And at some point during the slide, the person who's sliding, his hand comes off the base. And the third baseman continues to hold the tag. And yesterday they hit Christian Yelich because his leg came off the bag as his hand was sliding toward the bag. And they went to replay. This is a place for me where evolution and progress is not actually good. We don't need to be doing that we don't need to be going to instant replay on whether a guy slid marginally off of the bag and a glove was on it. Like, what are we doing there?
Well, not just that. Then it holds up the game for 5 minutes.
No,
It's
but I'm
already
saying,
slow
yeah,
enough.
we're studying every microscopic thing in such slow motion that it's stupid.
I thought we were going to talk about third base and how bad Christian Colon is. Oh, my God.
Is he any worse than Dietrich?
Oh, yeah. He looks more lost than actual Christopher Columbus when he was sailing looking for America. He's so lost on the field, this Colon.
Got him.
Because Colon is Columbus
I know
in
Colon
Spanish.
is
Get it,
Columbus
Dan?
in Spanish.
Nice. Good job.
Don Lebatard.
You know what? He got me excited for baseball season in this Marlins team. He really did.
You are so full of it.
Not even close to fired up.
Stugotz.
Last time you went to a Marlins game, you went in a Mets shirt, and they put you on the Jumbotron.
They sure did.
This is the Don Lebatard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
You can text the show on the Coral Springs Automall Nissan text line at 67974.
Mike, I just saw something come across the scroll, and I'm wondering if I read it wrong. Does Emilio Bonifacio have 10 home runs for the Royals?
Oh, my God. I'm checking it right
What
now.
is going on with home runs in baseball this year? Because last I checked, they were on a pace to hit more home runs than even during the steroid years. How is that possible?
You got that completely wrong. He has 0 home runs for the Braves.
Yeah.
Okay, well, something just scrolled. What does he have 10 of? Stolen bases?
No.
No, he has 3 of those.
Yeah.
Something came on. It said Bonifacio, and then in parentheses it said 10. Chris is saying
10 at bats?
At bats, 10 at bats.
He has 9 strikeouts, so it's not that either.
There's nothing on his stat line that has a 10 underneath of it.
He had 10 walks in 2014. Could it have been that?
All right.
He has 13 homers for his career. There's no 10. I can't see a 10 anywhere.
Okay.
There are no 10s.
Okay.
So yeah, you're.
Then I was wrong. Then the question I was asking.
Yeah, maybe 10 seasons. No, 11 years.
Why would there
Not
be a
even that.
10 in parentheses? There was a 10 in parentheses.
He did have 42 games with the Kansas City Royals in 2013.
Was last night's game 10 innings?
Is 10 like the DH? Was he DHing maybe?
Anyway, let's move on. Many people are writing in, talk about the NBA trades.
What a night last night. What a night.
It was a 9-inning game last night.
What a night. What happened? Dwight Howard got traded.
Dwight Howard, Brooke Lopez, all these big stiffs just
what
moving.
That's what a night.
Oh, yeah.
man,
What a
the
night.
huge
man.
names. D'Angelo
What a
Russell
night.
got moved. The Lakers are starting to move and shake their roster a little bit. Maybe they're in talks now to trade the number 2 pick to acquire 2 first-round picks and maybe just keep one and trade the other to Indiana as a part of this Paul George deal. And now, all of a sudden, you pair Paul George with Brooke Lopez. Maybe a team that can battle for a playoff spot in the
wait
West.
a minute. They're trying to make room for LeBron.
Oh,
Well,
yes,
yeah, but Lopez
that's
is
for
up
next
after
year.
next year, right?
That's
But
for
for
next
this year, right? They could
Yeah,
be
because
decent.
Brooke Lopez is an
No,
expired
wait a
deal.
minute. Wait a minute. On Brooke Lopez, just wait a minute.
What?
Brooke Lopez is the only name that I have a running joke with the people at the Miami Heat about. Every trade deadline for the last 5 years, I send off a text. You get the Lopez call? Every year. Yep. Every year. They're shopping Lopez again. Come on. And I'd start, firing off texts. Come on, Hispanic heritage. Trade for him. Every year, the phone rings at the trade deadline, and it's Brooklyn offering Brooke Lopez.
Jorge Bonifacio has 10 home runs for the Royals.
There you go.
Thank you. There's where you found it.
Excellent.
A Jorge Bonifacio.
Good research.
Thank you. Finally stumbled upon it.
It was a fun night. Now, one of the interesting things here is I was reading a story, I think it was the Chicago Sun-Times, where the Cavalier players were calling Jimmy Butler, who's on a European vacation, and telling him, hey, let's get this done, come over to Cleveland. And then Griffin left. They parted ways. Gilbert fired him. And those same Cavalier players then called Jimmy Butler and said, you don't want to come here. It's a mess here.
Isn't that outrageous?
Crazy.
Crazy night last night.
Crazy,
It
man.
is so exciting. Usually, I try to fake this enthusiasm and annoy Dan. Last night on Twitter, it is exciting.
It is.
All of this draft and free agency, I love it so much. I've been dying for this sort of NBA excitement. Wow, so fun.
Jimmy Butler reportedly has told Cleveland, I'm not going there. I'd rather stay in Chicago.
Right. And what I'm telling you is this story says that a couple of days ago, Jimmy Butler was going to go to Chicago management pushing for a trade, and then Griffin was let go, and the Cavalier players said, hey, this thing's a mess. You don't want to be here.
Yeah, the Stephen A. Smith report that Chicago offered Jimmy Butler for the number 3 pick to Philly, and Philly said no. They like
right?
Fultz. They like Fultz more. Yep. Dwayne Wade opted in last night. All of this craziness.
Well, Philadelphia's number 1 now, not number 3.
Well, no, I said they were offered for the number 3 pick, but they liked Fultz and decided to do the deal with Boston instead.
And you know what I love the most about this? All is quiet in Rileyville. And I love when everything's quiet in Rileyville. I do, because that means
that it's
Pat's
quiet.
working on something, man.
He said it's quiet.
No, when it's quiet in Rileyville, we all know what it means. Put it on the poll. When it's quiet in Rileyville, do we all know what it means?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Thank you.
It's a little too quiet.
Yeah, a little too quiet. Yep. You'd agree, right? It seems like you agree with us.
I agree that it's quiet.
Is it too quiet?
No, it's the right amount of quiet.
There's always action around Rileyville. It's Rileyville. He's Riley. He's got the Armanis. He's got the watches, nice cars, bottles of wine, and it's really quiet. You walk into town now, and it is strangely quiet.
I like to think that when every deal is sort of agreed upon, they put in one last call to Rileyville, and he either nods or shakes his head.
So last night when Charlotte and Atlanta are going back and forth, he just nodded his head. It's okay. I don't want to.
Go make that trade.
Yeah.
Make that trade.
He just nods. He nods in the direction of Charlotte.
Yeah,
that's what he does.
It was a Skype. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Doesn't even say a word.
It was a Skype?
Yeah, it was a Skype. And Ellisberg is got his hand on his right shoulder, standing behind Riley's chair, who's got both of his hands on his chin.
In a steeple?
In
both
a steeple.
Both of his hands
In
are
a
in a steeple
steeple.
formation on his chin?
And he doesn't even do anything, and Ellisberg just reads the room, and he gives the nod.
Really? Is that right?
Yes.
So that Riley
Nailed it.
doesn't have to use any energy,
Right.
and doesn't have to waste any energy.
Oh, man.
I said on SportsCenter today, this has got people mad.
Kaepernick?
No, Dwight Howard. I said he's a Hall of Famer.
Well, he is.
He is, man. That Basketball Hall of Fame, they'll let anybody in.
Yeah.
That should be your point. Every time you get any sort of pushback on this, that Hall of Fame does not matter. Okay? It doesn't matter. They'll let anybody in. Stop getting mad. So stupid.
But I think Dan was saying it in a way like he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I
too.
think we all agree that they let anyone in. But Dan's saying he's
if
deserving.
Alonzo Mourning's in the Hall of Fame, Dwight Howard has to be in the Hall of Fame.
Of course. Dwight Howard had 3 solid years where he was arguably the second best player in the league. You can make the solid argument for it. Andre Iguodala might be a Hall of Famer. They'll let anyone in that thing.
Not Reggie Miller.
No Reggie.
Not Reggie Miller, though, for whatever reason. Dan, that's where her hard stop.
That's the line.
Do you realize that this stuff that happens in the NBA, where Paul George sort of tells management, hey, I'm gone in a year, where else in sports does that happen? Where else in sports do you have these situations where the player has so much power that Jimmy Butler can go to management and say, get me out of here? And it means anything. Over the years, there have been some people who have come to the Marlins and demanded trades, but you don't even hear about it.
Right.
And they're never mind demanding them. They don't even get hurt. They don't even get heard by the Marlins. The Marlins are like, nah, you're under contract.
Maybe top-level baseball, but no, A-Rod was willing to take a pay cut and go to Boston, and even the union shot that down. Soccer is obviously a prime example, but in terms of American sports, the players have so much power in the NBA, despite the fact that they're capped.
It's just in the NBA, because that Paul George story can't happen anywhere else.
No. It can't. It's fascinating, though. It's rare in the NBA, is it not? Because LeBron didn't do it. Other players, Paul George, actually did the Pacers a favor there, I think.
It's not that rare, though. The players all the time, since Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson got coach fired. Magic Johnson, one of the reasons Pat Riley's relationship with Magic Johnson is so good, because Magic Johnson helped pave the way for Pat Riley to start his career there.
Got Westhead fired.
What's amazing is all these star players, even though they don't have no trade clauses written into their contract, only a few do, like LeBron, let's say, they actually have de facto no trade clauses because they have power in saying, yeah, I'll sign an extension with you. No, I won't. That's a no trade clause essentially now.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Self's in the Hall of Fame. And Dwight Howard's getting in, man.
What about his toupee?
What can the Heat do?
I would go after Paul George. I would. I don't know if they have the assets, but I would go after Paul George.
There are so many reports out there that is abundantly clear he's going to the Los Angeles Lakers. You're an attractive destination? Fine. You want to rent me because I'm going to the Lakers.
It seems pretty clear that the Lakers are trying to put themselves in position for a team that features LeBron and Paul George.
Do you think...
in 2018.
Why can't it be the Clippers, though?
Yeah, do you think if Chris Paul re-ups that LeBron is so vicious that he won't go with his best friend over at the Clippers.
I was thinking about this last night. I think LeBron, like a perfect ending for LeBron, because he's all about this. And I'd be interested if you guys agree. Like to put a team together that could contend for a championship with Paul George. It's him and Paul George. I don't know how the salaries work out, but there's an agreement that some of these guys are just taking less than what they should be making. And it's George, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron, Dwayne Wade. And he tries to win his friends a championship towards the end of their careers. I think it's a perfect way for him to go out. Playing with his friends, contending for a championship. I could see it happening because Wade's not going to play for a lot next year.
It would be a cool story. They need to partner up with a young buck, though.
Yeah. Paul George. That's what I'm saying.
Well, Paul George is going to even the Clippers put in a call for Paul George. He's absolutely going to the Lakers. I don't know if they can make this work with the Lakers, considering that Chris Paul is up this summer.
Because there are rumors now that the Clippers are shopping DeAndre Jordan. Like everyone, Jerry West, everyone. This is the fascinating part of all this. All these teams are trying to position themselves for a run at Golden State, for a run at LeBron and Paul George, essentially, so they can compete with Golden State.
Well, his next move is going to be an interesting one, because I'm with Stugotz on this. LeBron James right now is playing with the whole house money, gravy, all that stuff. LeBron James, did you see how quickly he was dancing in the weight room after losing the finals? That is not how he used to react to defeats in the finals. Like, he is clear. He did what it is that he promised he would do for Cleveland. He won a championship, and I think the rest of his career is going to look exactly as he wishes for it to look.
Yes.
However that is, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that looks like. But I'm not positive that it's what you think it looks like, where he just gets all his buddies together, but that's not implausible.
No, I think he would enjoy that. I think they would all enjoy that. I mean, they're really, really tight. Anthony, Wade, Chris Paul, LeBron James. We all know that. And that'd be a fun way for him to kind of go out there playing with his best friends, trying to win a championship.
It feels to me like everyone already realizes in Cleveland that he's gone again.
Yes.
I don't know why he signed the 2-year deal.
I don't either.
He was so drunk in love after that first title. But even still, that's so weird for LeBron and Rich Paul to make that sort of move. Weird.
Have you heard any theories as to why they did that?
I know that by signing a 2-year deal, if he was just going to re-up with Cleveland, he would have made more money by doing it that way as opposed to opting out and then opting back in. So if he knew all along his plan was 2 years, then we ride out to Los Angeles no matter what. But now he's probably still regretting that for, an extra $2 million. Having Dan Gilbert doing what he's doing this offseason, I'm sure he would pay $2 million to have Griffin and, the appearance of stability in that organization.
You think he'd like out right now? Let's keep in mind, man, they were a couple of minutes away from that series being 2-2.
Yeah, but they were.
I mean, they're close.
I know, but the Heat were right there. The Heat were almost up 2-0 in San Antonio, right? If not for the air conditioning and the cramps.
True.
The Heat would have been up 2-0 in San Antonio. Next thing you know, San Antonio wins 4 straight games, and the Heat are out of, the Heat are done, and LeBron's gone. It happened in 4 games.
People were talking Heat in 5. People were talking Heat in 5 because of how those first 2 games
They were
went.
up in the fourth quarter, 7 or 9, right? They were up in the fourth quarter at San Antonio, either 7 or 9.
They go up 2-0, right?
Dunking, it was the first 2 games of that series was everything you were hoping that series would be, and the Heat looked like the better team.
Well, Mike, what's funny about that is you've said before that the Miami Heat playing basketball that year against the San Antonio Spurs in the finals was something that felt like the beautiful basketball that we were just watching in these finals. What were the scores of those games? Because I remember the Heat being up 7 and being in the 90s. It wasn't these games where the teams are scoring 130.
I need to check the box score of the third quarter of Game 2 at a halftime at San Antonio, and I got to check the missed field goals. I'm pretty sure there were less than 5 missed field goals that entire quarter. It was the most beautiful basketball you have ever seen.
I'm almost there. What year was it again?
2014? 14, maybe.
So 14, 15?
13, 14.
Okay.
We look it up next.
And now, insurance-minded speeches from Geico.
Let's talk about power. To illustrate this, allow me to tell you a story about how I moved a tow truck 25 miles using only my index finger. I was stranded with a flat tire. I opened the Geico app, Then, with a few taps of my finger, I beckoned emergency roadside assistance and a tow truck to my car. I invite you all to unleash the full potential of your fingertips with the Geico app. Thank you.
Don Le Batard.
You just lied to a cop on the way in here today.
Oh, I sure did. Listen, I'm just telling everyone right now, I'm doing whatever I need to do to get to this studio as quickly as possible.
Stugotz.
So today it was all over the place. I was in a service lane. I was in the 836 line all the way to the end and cut people off to get back onto 95. The cop saw me and he pulled me over and he asked me, hey, how long ago did you know you needed to be in the lane you're in now because you just cut everyone off? You could have caused an accident. And I said, I got to be honest, I don't come down this way often. I live up in Parkland. I have a big meeting down in Miami. I said, this is the first time I've been down here in 6 months, and I probably won't come back down here for another 6 months. So these roads aren't familiar to me. You let me go?
I mean,
It's good. Hey, listen, it was a good lie.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Texter writes in, Dan, are you that simple? The score, the game is further from the rim than ever. The game has changed with pace where they take more shots, almost all from three, a shot they will miss 66% of the time. I understand why the math says do it, but to blanket say it's beautiful, maybe Golden State, maybe that's it. All right, we were comparing the basketball that we watched in the finals to Spurs Heat basketball at the end of LeBron's run here. LeBron had mastered the game at that point, was shooting 58% from the field, wasn't taking any bad shots, but those games, compared to these games, were low scoring.
Yes.
And both of those teams had plenty of three-point shooters and plenty of three-point shooting. They didn't shoot it as much as Golden State and Cleveland did, but the pace of the game is what, to me, made that the most beautiful basketball I've ever seen in the finals.
Right. I mean, the one game the Heat won, they won 98-96.
And that was the only game that San Antonio was held under 100 points.
I know, but their winning point totals were what the losing point totals were in these finals.
Oh, yeah. That series, when I point to the series, it sort of changed basketball. The ball movement that the Spurs had, I had never seen basketball like that. How can you compete with that? And then the Warriors just took it, not next level, like the next two levels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris Bosh called it the most beautiful basketball.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
That's never happened before.
Well.
He called that's the first time that's ever happened in 14 years, where I'm in the middle of a thought and I sneeze.
Gesundheit.
I wonder, how funny did that sound?
I think you did a good job of getting far away from the microphone, and it wasn't a loud sneeze. You're a silent sneezer, man.
Yeah, you're not a violent sneezer.
The opposite.
Is everyone surprised that I'm
Yeah.
I thought you'd
A
be
silent
I thought you'd throw your back
sneezer.
out while sneezing.
I thought you were violent. Man.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Are you surprised that Dan is a silent sneezer? So that Spurs series is what Chris Bosh said is the most beautiful basketball he's ever seen, but Golden State has revolutionized that even. They are more unselfish than the Spurs. They distribute the ball better than anybody I've ever seen, and it's the most unselfish basketball team I've ever seen.
I mean, they own the Heat at the American Airlines Arena. I mean, they crushed them in both games at the AAA.
Yeah, and took it from them early. Took it from them in the first quarter where you were trailing all game.
I'm looking at Game 3 right now. Man, that's a great memory. 41-25 after the first quarter. I destroyed them.
Well, they were never in the game. It felt like the Heat weren't in the finals because their home games, they were always trailing by 15. It felt like the Miami Heat were the only time they were in the finals is when they played the first two games close at San Antonio.
I remember Game 5, LeBron came out. He had the Boston Game 6 look on his face. He was killing
Yeah,
it.
they were up like 17 in the second quarter.
Buzzsaw. Lost that game 87-104.
Yeah. Well, he remembered. He realized, hey, I'm going back to Cleveland.
It was at the very... I think we figured something out in that fourth quarter by playing Beasley. Just figured it out a little too late for us.
All right, I'm going to leave you guys here for 10 minutes. I got to go for a second. I got to go to the bathroom. You got to handle this.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
This
All right.
amazing.
This has never happened.
Wait, no, but know what
two
happened here?
firsts.
Sometimes a sneeze will lead to you having...
It loosens
It
stuff
pushes
up.
yes.
Okay.
Put that on the poll, by the way, Guillermo. Does a sneeze lead to a number two?
Oh, you know what? Maybe he did number 2.
Oh my God, he pooped himself.
Yeah.
Put that on the poll.
He concentrated his efforts.
Going home to change.
That's what's happening. He concentrated his efforts on holding in the sneeze. Had he pooed himself?
It does.
Happened to me before.
Listen, it does smell in here.
It's happening. It does.
It smells in here. Put it on the poll. Did Dan poop himself? He's not here, and he won't realize this till after the show, until I recap the polls at the end of the show. So 2 things on the poll at Le Batard Show on Twitter. Occasionally, does a sneeze lead to a poop? And the second one I want up there is, did Dan poop in his pants? At Le Batard Show on Twitter. It smells in here, guys. I'm concerned. You think he sneezed and...
I think he concentrated all his efforts on holding that in, that some of the things came loose.
Roy, has that ever happened to you?
No.
Well, just in general, have you ever pooped yourself?
No.
Fat Chris?
I've never pooped myself, but I once had to, on a golf course, pull the ejection button quick.
Mike is spraying some aerosol. Wait, Chris, I missed that because Mike was distracting me. He's spraying some stuff in here.
I've never pooped myself in my pants, but one time on a golf course, there was not a bathroom in sight, and it had to happen, so there was some woods, and it happened.
Okay, good. What'd you use for leaves?
A towel that was left. A golf towel.
Ooh, a towel hurts.
A golf towel that I doused in some water, and then I left it in the woods.
Wow.
Too much info?
No. Just that hurts. Like, I would go with leaves before I go with a towel.
No. You got to go towel there.
The dousing in water...
Put that on the poll. Towel or leaves?
The dousing it in water made it a little smoother.
Oh, how'd he play? Guillermo?
Yes.
You know the question.
Have I ever pooped myself? Yeah. I had an incident.
Here.
Yeah, it was actually when we were like testing for TV and Mike was out, so it was kind of a disaster because I had to be here to test to fill in for Mike, and that's when we were in the old studio. And yeah, I was a mess. And I got on the expressway, and I was not feeling well. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And then all of a sudden, it hit me like a ton of bricks, as they say, Stugotz. Mm-hmm. And then I got off the expressway. I couldn't find a place to go. And then it just it was a mess.
Allison?
She's not in the room.
Oh.
What are you doing?
We're talking about whether we've ever pooped ourselves or not. We were debating whether or not you the sneeze led to a little poop.
Sneeze led to a poop.
Because sometimes, think about the motion. You can see how those things are.
My whole theory was that you concentrated all of your efforts in making it a silent sneeze, that inevitably some intestines got loose and something happened.
All that happened is that I'm taking a lot of natural digestive aids in the morning. And
then you sneezed, and bleep happened.
Right.
I thought you pooped yourself and you went home to change. Are you wearing the same shorts? Let me
yes.
stand up.
I just got back in 2 minutes. How could I have gone home and changed?
It was very quick. I think what happened was he took the underwear off, threw it in a dumpster.
Oh, you guys think that I pooped myself on air?
Yeah. Change. You do have that hotel room that you can change. Yeah. Let me see your shorts.
Wow, if only we had a lie detector.
They look a little different.
Prove it. Show us your underwear.
Well, I'm not wearing underwear.
What?
There we go.
A convenient excuse. Someone who pooped their pants would say that.
Chris, go see if you can find
Go ahead. Where would I
find the underwear?
Find the underwear. Go search the hotel for the underwear. Bring them back here immediately.
Do you normally wear underwear?
It depends.
Ooh, this story's got holes.
Oh, yeah. We got a lie detector here.
Oh, it depends. That's fine.
I can't wait. I cannot wait until Chris returns with underwear that aren't mine, because God knows what happens around the Cleveland or here at night.
I've seen underwear in the parking garage.
I know.
We park it every day. Uh-oh.
What did you just pull out of the garbage, Mike?
It's got a brown napkin.
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A?
Whoa.
Is what I just pulled out.
No, I'd tell you, we'd have a lot of fun if I had actually pooped myself. We'd spend the entire show talking about it.
We'd have even more fun catching you in this lie.
Yes.
Have you ever taken a polygraph test before?
Yeah.
I'd be happy to do that. If you guys want to do that at some point, did Dan, just one question for me, did Dan poop himself earlier in the show?
What if we each just get one question? Me, Mike, at the end. Little twist to the lie detector.
I thought I'd be happy to do it, but I thought that you had to do you had to be here a half hour early because he's got to measure baselines.
Yeah,
and there are all sorts of things.
There's a baseline. Right. So, if you ask a question on the fly without an established baseline, it could lead to a response that's not necessarily accurate.
You had to come in very early today just to set up the machine, right?
Yeah, I did. We sat down, we went through a bunch of questions, and Joe Harper, who's very intimidating, he just reminded me the things that I needed to do for him to get accurate responses. Fingers on the table and all that stuff.
So we are going to begin this in about, we're not going to start the show with it, but we're going to get situated and we're going to do it throughout the show. It's going to be the thread throughout the show. Stugotz goes up against the lie detector. We've got more than 50 questions. Did you guys get any good ones last night on the internet?
Not necessarily. I think what happened is a lot of people don't realize that we did this last year. So, we got great questions if we haven't already asked. But it did give me a couple of ideas for some new ones. So it got the creative juices flowing. So I added about 5 really difficult ones last night.
How excited are you guys about this? How excited are you guys about the questions?
This is a good opportunity for us to flash our producer bone, because some of this stuff is really hard to remember and keep track of. I mean, this is a year in the making. Chris, right? Jot it down, the whole advanced, sophisticated system we got in place. So this is if we make this sound clean and execute this well and it's funny, this is a great show for the best produced team in the nation.
Yeah, yes. I could tell you going through the prep work here for the lie detector, he read me some of the actual questions that are going to be asked. I cannot believe these guys have jotted down my every syllable. And they should, because just about every syllable that comes out of this mouth is a lie. I mean, there are questions they are asking me, man. I don't even remember talking about some of the stuff that they're asking me about.
Well, that's one of the things, one of the beauties of being Stugotz is he doesn't actually take inventory of anything that he's said before. So what happens is he's on Mike and Mike. Were you on Mike and Mike yesterday?
Yes.
You were on Mike and Mike yesterday, and you said the Cavs should immediately trade for Paul George, immediately. And then you came on here 15 minutes later and said the Cavs should keep their team together and let LeBron walk in a year. You should keep Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love so that you have them under contract in 2018. You gave 2 opinions that simply can't coexist unless you're Stugotz.
But it ensures that I'm right. And in 2017, news changes quickly, man. So that may have been my opinion 15 minutes before, but 15 minutes later, no. Cavs, keep it together. Some stuff changed, man.
The way that Stugotz does this erodes all our credibility. I don't mean just us here on the show. I mean everyone giving a sports opinion.
That's right.
He erodes it all because the way he does this is it's just say things that people will take notice of.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily believe them.
That's what this business is all about.
Believe them this minute, but will not believe it 15 seconds later, even though nothing actually changed. The only thing that changed was your ass went from doing Mike and Mike to coming into this studio.
Yep.
Nothing changed. There were no breaking news. It's just that it was your time to talk again.
And the time changed.